नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमः। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे नमस्ते। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरा भक्त वृंदा। प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरा भक्त वृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरा भक्तवृंदा। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरा भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna. जय प्रभुपाद, जय प्रभुपाद, प्रभुपाद, श्रील प्रभुपाद। जय जय प्रभुपाद, प्रभुपाद, जय श्रील प्रभुपाद। युग धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा। Welcome to the finale of this Gita SAAR. Happy to see some regular faces. And like all the other sessions, this session is dedicated to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who's the founder Acharya of ISKCON. And it is because of his transcendental endeavors that we are all sitting here today, trying to discuss the Bhagavad Gita. Yesterday, some devotee was sharing that it is because of him that we are doing the Rath Yatra. It is because of him that we have so many plates of prasadam. It is because of him that we have the deities of Jagannath. It is because of him that we know how to worship those deities in all parts of the world. It is because of him that we know how to pull the Ratha on the road. So thank you to Srila Prabhupada. And I hope and I pray that whatever discussions we do today, it will give pleasure to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, because if he is pleased, then we can be sure that Radha and Krishna are also pleased. So please join me in chanting some pranam mantras to invoke the auspicious blessings of the Acharya. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वत देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरं हरि ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna. So we are discussing chapter 13 to 18 today. Can we have a quick revision what we discussed, because last week was a very important session. Even if you remember one point, I'll feel so happy as a teacher. Something which you have taken back from the previous discussion, which you remember, which you would like to share. Anything? One point. Bhakti Yoga is the essence. Okay, if this much you remember, then that's fine. I remember, yeah. Kala Swarupa of Krishna, and you were talking about the Virat Rupa and the Kala Rupa of Krishna. Okay, yes, you remember that. That's good. Anything else? You remember that there are material energies, there are spiritual energies of Krishna. Very nice. Some more points. Okay, no problem. At least if you can understand that you have to chant Hare Krishna, to read the Bhagavad Gita, regularly come for the sessions and eat prasadam, this much is enough. Scholarship in Bhagavad Gita, we are not very interested also. We just want to read the Bhagavad Gita to please Acharyas and Krishna. Others can become scholars, no problem. So just try to, it makes sense to carry a notebook. And if you have a notebook, then you can take some notes. And then that will help you to remember. Once you see those notes before sleeping today or before coming back next week, you'll be having an entire glimpse. So we are ending this Gita SAAR. Honestly speaking, my expectation was not that all of you will understand the Bhagavad Gita and you'll become propounders of Bhagavad Gita. Wherever you go, you can start classes on Bhagavad Gita. That was not my expectation. My expectation was to just arouse a sense of faithfulness towards Krishna. My expectation was that all of you should become convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. My expectation was that all of you will be understanding that you are servants of God and that you can never become God, but your only duty is to continue serving God, loving servants of God. You have to be, and in such a way that you have to render your service in a non-envious manner, in a mood of friendly disposition. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam hi etad. Those who are devotees of Krishna and those who have a non-envious friendly service attitude towards Krishna, only they can understand the Bhagavad Gita. So if these basics, if you can remember, then we can go for the last section of today's discussion. That is chapter 13 to 18. I hope all of you have a Bhagavad Gita at home. Do you have a Bhagavad Gita as it is? Bhagavad Gita Yatharup as it is you have? You have as it is. Bhagavad Gita hai sabke paas? As it is version. So the chapter 13, I'll share my screen for those who are online. Okay, so chapter 13 is called as Nature, Enjoyer, and Consciousness. In this chapter, Arjuna asks 6 questions. What is Prakriti? What is Purusha? What is Kshetra? What is Kshetragya? What is Jnanam? And what is Jneyam? 6 questions are asked. What is Prakriti? Just a little bit. What is Prakriti? Sorry? Krishna ki bahiranga shakti. Channagide. Answer kodtare ನೀವು. Thank you very much. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. Very nice answer. The external energy of Krishna is called as Prakriti or nature. Nature is called as Prakriti. What is Purusha? Don't say I am Purusha. Huh? One who has an enjoyer tendency is called as Krishna, Purusha. Now, who is the actual Purusha? Krishna. Okay, my question to you, are you a Purusha? No, he's telling he's not a Purusha. Are you a Purusha? Tendency is there. Okay, are you a Purusha? Maybe, you don't know. We are Prakriti, okay. Very good, I like your answer. None of us sitting here are Purushas. Forget about the Stri and Purush concept, that is the bodily conception. The word Purusha means one who is the enjoyer or one who is authorized to enjoy. And suppose you take a vacuum cleaner, or let's say if you buy a car, then if you have made the payment for it and if you have not stolen it, then you are the Purusha of that car. At least that's what we think. That legally it belongs to me, so I have to use it and enjoy it legally. Although the car doesn't let you enjoy it, that's a different thing. You artificially think. Give me some more examples of a position where someone thinks that they are the enjoyer. They are the Purushas. They are the controllers of the maintainers of things. Huh? Okay, husband. How many of you are husbands here? Do you think that you are the boss? Huh? No, if a man thinks that he is the owner of the house and the controller of the house, very soon they will realize that nobody is the owner here. YMC, Yamaraj Municipal Corporation will come. No matter how much you love your wife, no matter how much you love your child, it doesn't matter if yesterday only you purchased a new sofa, you will be kicked out. That's a different thing, that the members of your family and your relatives only will not let you feel that you are an owner. But let's say if you are in Satyuga, and if they are really respectful and cooperative, and the moment you get up, they touch your feet, and before you put your legs down, they put slippers in your feet. That kind of treatment, still YMC is active. So Purusha means one who is the enjoyer. And therefore Prabhupada says that everybody is Prakriti. Because we are part and parcels of Krishna, our enjoyment lies in giving enjoyment to Krishna. For example, this hand is there. This hand can only be happy as long as it cooperates, or not just the hand, all parts of the body should cooperate so that the food goes in the Stomach. If the leg says that whole day I'm walking, food should come to me, that will not work. Because the design is such that simply if everybody cooperatively works to keep the stomach happy, then all parts of the body will be happy. So similarly, the design of the entire existence is that we are part and parcels of Krishna. And if we cooperate in the enjoyment of Krishna, then all of us will be happy. Now, does this mean that Krishna is a very mean person? No. Krishna is not a mean person. He is the most selfless person. Why? Because when we try to serve Krishna, Krishna feels happy. But we feel many, many more times happier than Krishna. Do you follow? If you try to fan Krishna, Krishna will feel happy. Yeah, I'm getting that nice breeze. But the person who fans, he gets much higher levels of happiness than what others are experiencing. That is a very great secret. Therefore, Krishna always wants to be with his devotees. So devotees of Krishna are meant to give pleasure to Krishna. In fact, not just devotee. Non-devotees are also meant for giving pleasure to God. The sooner you accept it, the happier you will be. For example, you have come alone today. What's your name? Soham. Whom we have come with? Okay. What's your age? 12. You want to be happy at your house? You are happy, okay. But suppose you start breaking things in your house, will you be happy? Somebody will become your enemy, right? Will not let you be happy. So if you want to be happy, what you should do? You should keep whom happy? Yes. If you keep your parents happy, then everything you will get. An obedient child is naturally the subject of affection of the parents. Do you agree? Suppose if you become thoroughly disobedient, you go in your house and you take the wall clock and you break it. Then will you be happy at home? So similarly, we are all parts and parcels of Krishna, and Krishna is the Supreme Father. If we become obedient and surrendered to him, naturally we will be happy. Suppose if you become obedient, you'll get everything what you want, right? And even that which you don't want, you'll get. Correct? So that is the secret of happiness. Very few people understand this. Surrendering to Krishna is the best welfare which we can do for our own self. We are so much in the material modes of nature, we are so much in illusion that we don't know what is good for ourselves. We think being lusty is very good for us. We think greedy, angry, spending a lifetime just earning money is very good for me. That is the source of happiness. Everybody, please come closer. The back side is getting filled and the front side is empty. Come close, come close. So we don't know what is good for ourselves. But Krishna knows what is good for us. So therefore, he knows he's our best well-wisher. So he's the Purusha and all of us are Prakriti. What is Kshetram? Kshetram means the body. In this material world, except the subtle living entities like the ghosts, everybody has a body. So that is called a Kshetra. In fact, technically speaking, even a ghost's subtle body is called as a Kshetra. Kshetragnyam means one who knows this body. So there are two kinds of Kshetragnyam also. Do you know your body? Not completely. But is anybody else here who knows you, who knows your body more than you? So you can say that in relation to others, I am Kshetragyam. You know your head. Where is your head? Okay. On your head, there is some hair. How many hair you have on your head? So there, the point what you said earlier, is that I don't know my body completely. Now, tell me what is going on in his head right now. Hmm? Okay. What is going on in his stomach right now? Yes. So that is the second level of Kshetrajnam. One Kshetrajnam is the spirit soul who decides in the Deha or the body. He is level 1 Kshetrajnam. And there is another Kshetrajnam in everybody, that is Krishna. The difference between the second level Kshetrajnam and the first level Kshetrajnam is Krishna knows what is happening in your stomach also, your stomach also, your stomach also, your stomach also. Krishna knows everything. But you know only your stomach or only your head. That is Kshetrajnam. I'm just explaining many verses quickly. Jnanam. That is knowing that I'm the body. I'm not the body, but the spirit soul. Knowing that here is the Purusha, I am the Prakriti, I am the first level Kshetrajnam, he is the second level Kshetrajnam. All this is called as Jnanam. And Jnayam means the object of knowledge, who is supposed to be known. So therefore, Krishna in the verses 2 to 7 starts talking about Kshetra, Kshetrajnam and Jnanam. The first, let me talk about the Jnanam process. Krishna, okay, who knows what is the end of knowledge? First of all, has anybody seen the end of knowledge? Like, they can claim I have all the knowledge in the world. Who can claim that I have all the money in the world? Can anybody claim that? Krishna can claim that. He is Lakshmipati. Now, someone may be very rich. Who is the richest person right now on this planet? Huh? Elon Musk. Any disagreement? Will he remain rich next month? Yeah. Even if somebody is rich, we don't know whether the next generation will be rich or not. We cannot imagine Ambani is being poor or Tata is being poor. But can you guarantee that the next generation of the people will also be rich? No. But which is that place where Lakshmi eternally resides and doesn't even go away? Sorry? The lotus feet of Lord Krishna or Vishnu. Lakshmi is Chanchala and Lord Krishna is Chanchalapati. So in the Bhagavatam, you will read Lord Krishna openly says that I'm not even attached to Lakshmi. But she doesn't leave me, you know why? Because I am the servant of my devotees. So being attracted to that quality, she doesn't leave me. So therefore, those who really want money or Lakshmi, what they should do? Become a servant of the devotees of Krishna. That is the secret of always having resources with yourself. But again, those who misuse the resources or misuse Lakshmi, Lakshmi will again leave. Lakshmi likes to be with whom? Lakshmi, Krishna. So if you keep your Lakshmi like this, then what will happen? She'll go away. But if you use it in Krishna's service, then that is your eternal gain. For the rest of eternity, it will be noted down in your spiritual account that yes, Lakshmi will be so happy that I somehow, I was there with this person and he used me in Krishna's service, my master's service. That is his best welfare. So this is something which we have to understand. However, coming back from the topic of Lakshmi to Jnana, Krishna knows the end of knowledge. So therefore, in this chapter 13, shloka number 8 to 12, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, in 5 shlokas, he defines what is knowledge and what is not knowledge. And very authoritatively, he defines. In fact, after defining knowledge, he says everything else which is there is not knowledge. So from that only, we can get a picture that Krishna really knows everything. However, first he talks about what are the qualities to get knowledge. So he says, please listen to me, humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amongst pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, philosophical search for the absolute truth. All this is knowledge. And everything else which is there is not knowledge, like that Krishna says. So basically, these are 20 qualities, 20 factors which have been told by Krishna. So when we cultivate these 20 things, then we can disentangle ourselves and we can go out of this material world back home, back to God. However, there is one item in this, the 16th item. If you simply focus on that 16th item, all the other 19 items will come to you. What is that? Constant and unalloyed devotion to me. If we have constant and unalloyed, means not mixed, pure bhakti, kevala bhakti, constant and unalloyed devotion to Krishna, if we can practice, then all the other 19 qualities will automatically develop. You don't need to strive for it. You don't need to do anything special for it. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayatyashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayadhaitukam. Anybody who is a devotee of Krishna or Vasudeva, automatically, without even trying very hard, two things will come: Jnana and Vairagya. Gyan means who is Krishna, who am I, what is my relationship with him, what is my prescribed duty, how to control my mind, all these things is called Jnana. Vairagya means those things which are not favorable for me to practice bhakti, I should have the determination to say no to those things. Those things which are actually an obstacle in the practice of my Krishna consciousness, I should say no to them. This ability is called as Vairagya. Vairagya is only possible when you have Anurag for Krishna. If you do not have attachment to Krishna, and artificially if you have become detached, that is called as Markat Vairagya or monkey renunciation. How many of you have seen a monkey? Where did you last see a monkey? Loi Bazaar. Huh? Why am I saying that the renunciation of a monkey is, you see a monkey doesn't wear clothes, lives on trees, eats only fruits. But why am I saying that that is third class renunciation? The monkey's mind is not fixed, keeps jumping from one tree to another tree, one branch to another branch. Okay, anything, any other answer? Tell me the major thing because of which we can say that the monkey is not renounced. Every monkey has at least 12 wives. Have you seen that? Take it from me, that is the reality. So being in the renounced order of life and being engaged in with 12, not less than 12, you can really count. Every monkey literally has 12. So that is called Markat Vairagya. Another Vairagya is Falgu Vairagya. How many of you have seen the Falgu river, which I think goes in Gaya? What is the speciality of Falgu river? It will not have water. Yes. But let's say if you dig 2 feet, will water be visible? Yes. So Falgu Vairagya is another kind of Vairagya, which means useless Vairagya. There's no point of having that kind of Vairagya. two meanings are there, that when a person is trying to practice renunciation, but is all the time thinking of the sense objects. For example, if I'm trying to avoid a car, but all the time my desktop wallpaper is a car, I'm collecting magazines about car, and then I'm thinking of researching about cars, then there is no point of renunciation. Externally, I'm showing Falgu Vairagya. And another thing, why this is Falgu Vairagya? Because just like the Falgu river, it looks very dry on the top, but if you dig 1 feet deep, there is water. So one looks like a renunciant, but in the core of their heart, they are having desires. And that is Falgu Vairagya. Another meaning of Falgu Vairagya is useless Vairagya, because that river is useless. It doesn't help anybody. For example, if I'm uselessly renounced that, okay, I will not touch money. There is a class of renunciants in India. They have taken a vow that I will not touch money. But people come and give money. So they say, please give it to my personal assistant. This is called as Falgu Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means whatever is there, we should learn to use it in Krishna's service. Money is not evil. The desire to artificially enjoy money for my own sense gratification is evil. So whenever Lakshmi comes, a person who is a Yukta Vairagi or who is a proper renunciant, he will take all the money and he will use it in Krishna's service. Not that I am a Vairagi, don't give me money. I cannot touch money. There is another class of, I'm just telling you so that you know what is proper. There is another class of so-called renunciants. You serve them some nice Jagannath Prasad. Rath Yatra was happening. So, suppose Chappan Bhog is coming and you take out 32 items of that Chappan Bhog and you make a nice plate and you give it to them. You know how they'll eat? These Falgu Vairagis. They'll put water on everything. And then they'll mix everything. Khatta, namkeen, meetha, everything mixed up. And then they will eat. And people will think, such a great sadhu is here. No, that is wrong. That is bad. That should not be done. When Krishna Prasad comes, we have to accept it the way Krishna accepted it. That is called respecting Prasad. If Krishna has accepted it, the other meaning of this is that suppose you forgot to add salt. So Krishna took it without salt. So you should also take without salt. Not that, Bhagwan ko nahi offer kiye, namak kam tha. So now I will add and eat. No. So Krishna Prasad is not Maya. If some nice prasadam is coming, that is not Maya. One needs to think that this roti has touched the lips of Krishna. And this sabzi has touched the lips of Krishna. It contains the saliva of Krishna. Simply by eating it, I'll be infected with Krishna consciousness. And in this consciousness, one should eat. But these Falgu Vairagis, they do not appreciate Krishna Prasad also. They'll mix water and eat. So we should not be Falgu Vairagis or Markat Vairagis. We should be Yukta Vairagis. So simply by practicing unalloyed devotion to Krishna, Janayat Yashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahitam. Proper Jnana and proper Vairagya will be coming to you. So forget these 8 to 12 verses. Just remember one thing. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. If you can do these 2 things, you will be the topmost personality, and even the great demigods will be worshipping you. Okay. After that, Krishna talks about Jnayam, or the object of knowledge. And they say that the object of knowledge is soul and super soul, Atma and Paramatma. This is the only thing about which the living entity should inquire. Where is the bottle? There's no point inquiring about other things. In fact, at the end of life, all other inquiries are useless. They don't help you. Only the inquiries which you have made about the spirit soul and the supreme soul, Jivatma and Bhagwan, will actually help you at the time. Otherwise, every other inquiry which you made about the life insurance, or other inquiries which you made about the car, the house, the EMI, YMC will take away. Yamaraj Municipal Corporation. Nothing you can take with yourself. And then Krishna in the 26th chapter talks about Prakriti, Purusha and their union. So now we will start reciting some verses. Purushaha Prakriti-stho hi bhungte Prakriti-jan gunan karanam guna sangusya sad asad yoni janmasu. So I hope you have understood that when it comes to Purusha, the actual Purusha is Krishna, but in one way the soul is also Purusha, because the soul also wants to enjoy. They enjoy it factually, constitutionally, the soul is not the Purusha, but the soul also has a desire, so in one way it is also a Purusha. So Krishna says the living entity in the material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. That's why here the Purusha Prakriti-stho hi, here Purusha means the spirit soul, not Krishna. Why? Because it wants to enjoy the three modes of material nature. This is due to his association with the material nature. Karanam guna sangosya. The spirit soul is a pure part and parcel of Krishna. How did it become addicted to enjoying something which is not spiritual? So I'm going to say something very gross and very dirty, but this will help you to understand. The pigs like to eat the stool or the night soil. In civilized terms, they say night soil. Night soil means stool. How does the pig start enjoying the stool? If you keep little bit some nice gajar ka halwa and a stool, the pig will go for stool and not eat the gajar ka halwa. How do you think the pig got this behavioral characteristic trait? The pig could have been a human being in last life. Now, how many human beings eat stool? So it is karanam guna sangosya. So those people who eat without discrimination, I'll eat this also, I'll eat that also, I'll eat this also, I'll eat that, whether dirty, whether bad, whether a dead body, whether what, I don't care. Everything I'll just eat. I'll eat insects also. Somebody was telling me, I don't know if it is correct, but somebody was telling me that in China, the definition of non-vegetarian is that if it is there in your plate and if it is moving, then it is non-veg. And if it is not moving, then it is vegetarian. This somebody was telling me. This is China. They literally, anything which is moving, let's call it the wet market, wet Chinese market. Anything you can see there. Starting from the fetus, the abortion fetus which is there. Starting from that to snakes, lizards, dogs, cats, insects, snakes, whatever, anything which you can imagine is there in that market. So, Karanam Gunasang, those who have this kind of a lifestyle, they go in a specific river, a specific kind of a hellish planetary system called, which is that hellish planetary system? It's mentioned in the 5th canto of Bhagavatam. I forget the name of that hellish planet, but in that hellish planet, there is a river called as Vaitarani. In that Vaitarani, blood, mucus, stool keeps floating all the time. So the living entity is put there. Initially, the living entity is moving around like this. Kumbhi Park, man. Okay. So somebody is verifying it is Kumbhi Park. So living entity is moving like this. Like that he's doing. But we are conditioned souls. We get conditioned to everything. So after some time, he starts thinking, not so bad also. I can survive. But then he feels hungry. Chi, 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 I cannot eat this. But then when hunger comes, what they do after some time? The living entity starts eating the mucus, blood, stool, all those things. And then after some time, the living entity starts relishing it, slurp. And when the living entity has developed that consciousness, then they get pig's body. Karanam guna sangosya. It has been reported that during World War II, in the camps of Hitler, when people were locked for many days together, they were not given anything to eat. So they used to pass stool and eat that. It is documented. This must happen because that is Karanam Guna Sangosya. So whatever this Krishna is saying, this is due to the living entity's association with material nature. And because of that, Sada Asada Yoni Janmasu, thus he meets good and evil among various species. The kind of modes you have associated with that decides your next body or next yoni. Yoni means species. Whether you will become a cat or a dog or a snake or a lizard or a bat or an animal species or demigod species or human beings, like that. So Krishna is explaining what is nature, enjoyer, and consciousness. And then chapter 13 finished. Chapter 14 is called as the three modes of material nature. What do you see in this picture? You see that there are three, different cultures, they call it differently. I think the Greek mythology calls these three modes as three witches. Because these three modes are actually not the original nature of the spirit soul. Mode of goodness is also suffering. Did you know that? Okay, we understand that mode of ignorance is suffering. Mode of passion is suffering. But how mode of goodness is suffering? Prabhupada explains this with an example. He gives the example of three prison houses. He says that suppose if you are giving an example, given an option, you have given a choice, which prison you want to stay. Option number A, a prison which has an air conditioner, a nice bed, nice pillow. I have little neck pain, so orthopedic pillow and nice fridge. You can keep ordering from Zomato and Blinkit, and you can sleep now. Newspaper and Netflix is there. This is the prison house. The second prison house is that no AC, no fridge, no Blinkit thing. Only 100 MB data is there. That's like a prison, man. And then you get to sleep on the floor. That was option A prison. This is option B prison. Option C prison means you have to share with others. One room you have to share with others. Common toilet, common bathroom. No internet, no phone, nothing. No newspaper also. And you have to sleep on the floor, and then you'll be made to work also. So which prison will you choose? A, B, or C? How many of you will go for option C? Option B? Option A? Yes, very good. Option A? And others, what about you? You will not take any option? Why? Prison is a prison. Just see how you people got cheated. You are nicely sleeping in your house. Why do you want to go in a prison? Prison is a prison. So, similarly, mode of goodness is also bondage. Especially in India. When you go with the Bhagavad Gita on the streets to distribute, what they'll say? I know everything. They'll do like this. So sacred. I have eaten chicken I cannot touch today. My grandfather has, my grandmother has. Everything we have studied. We are life members of ISKCON. My father, 30 years ago, he became life member. And we have all the books. Where it is? Oh, yeah, it is there in my hometown. Where is your hometown? Visakhapatnam. But where are you, Bangalore? I mean, does not matter. Visakhapatnam book is there. Potency is there in the whole family. This is nonsense. Why don't you have only one phone for the entire family, which is in Visakhapatnam? No, every member of the family will have one phone with Netflix. But Bhagavad Gita, one Bhagavad Gita for 4 generations is good enough. This is called bondage due to the mode of goodness. No, in other countries, people don't even know. So we can understand mode of ignorance, passion is there. But here they know, but they still don't want to take. That is called mode of goodness. Problems due to mode of goodness. So sometimes these are called as witches, but in Vedic philosophy, they are called as not witches, but they are represented as modes, and they operate the living entity in various ways. But ultimately, everything is under the control of Krishna. So the conditioning of the soul by the material bodies is discussed in the 14th chapter. Please recite after me. Sarva yonishu kaunteya murtayah sambhavanti yah tasam brahma mahad yoni aham bij pradah pita. Krishna is telling it should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed-giving father. Krishna never says I am an Indian god or a Hindu god. He says I am the seed-giving father of not just the human beings, but all species of life. Now, there is much more to explain to this. The concept of 3 Vishnus, Kshirodakshai, Karanodakshai, Garbhodakshai, all that, it can be explained through this verse, but due to lack of time, I'll skip that. And then he says, Sattvam Rajastama iti gunaha prakriti sambhavaha nibadhanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Material nature consists of 3 modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, please take note, eternal living entity comes in contact with the nature, goodness, passion, ignorance, then he becomes conditioned by these modes. And then, O sinless one, the mode of goodness being purer than others is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reaction. Those situated in that mode of goodness become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. For example, somebody, let's say, is a very nice doctor. So they are earning a lot of money. They are getting respect in the society. That is also kind of conditioning. They feel they are happy in life. Oh, I'm getting respect. Oh, I'm earning money. Oh, I'm able to maintain my family. Oh, I'm having respect in my society of relatives. And they feel life is very good. They are not seeing how, birth, death, old age, and disease is sucking their life force. They are not seeing that. They are not seeing that they are simply chewing the chewed. They are doing the same thing again and again. They're not able to realize it. But that false sense of happiness is there. I'm a doctor. I'm earning. I'm happy. People respect me. So this is called conditioning due to the mode of goodness. Are you able to correlate as I'm explaining? Now, the mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. All the time, desires. O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive actions. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness or ignorance is delusion of all embodied living entities. The results of this mode are, how do you identify a person in the mode of good ignorance? The results of this mode are madness, indolence, and excessive sleep, which bind the conditioned soul. So if somebody is mad, can you give me an example of somebody who is mad? Any example? Somebody who is mad? Everyone is mad. Okay. I agree to that. Yeah. We are all in the material world. We left Krishna. We are all mad people. But amongst ourselves, who is mad Shiromani? That is my question. Give me an example of mad. Without any reason smiling, that is mad person. Huh? Okay, any other answer? Let's see what others have to say. Give me an example of mad people. Those who are coming late, can you give me an example of a mad person? Egoistic people are mad people, okay? Those are not able to take the correct decision. They are the mad person. I think I also fall in that category. I also make some mistakes sometimes. Except Krishna, there is nobody else in this whole creation who doesn't make mistakes. So your definition is a very strict definition. Make things easy. Mad. Who's mad? Huh? Film stars? Scientists and film stars. Yes, more or less. But according to Srila Prabhupada, the best definition of madness is one who is thinking that he can be happy in this material world is a madman. One who is not afraid of what will happen to him after death is a madman. That is the perfect definition of madness. So people in ignorance, they are like that, mad. You tell them, they don't bother. Sleep. No, people who sleep a lot. These days, there are many theories that you should sleep like this, sleep like that. This minimum is 9 hours, 10 hours. So those who sleep, according to the Yoga Sutras, according to Patanjali Yoga Sutras, if somebody can hit the bed at 9:30 p.m., then they can easily wake up at 3 or 3:30 a.m. Every 1 hour of sleep before 12 midnight is equal to 2 hours of rest for the body. So 9:30 to 12:30, you already got 6 hours of sleep. And after 12, every hour of sleep is like 1 hour of sleep, rest. And after 3:30 a.m., whatever you sleep, it is useless. So if you actually regulate your sleep, a person who eats less need not sleep for 6 hours also. Body does not need that rest. Because maximum energy of the body goes in digestion. But somebody who has a very regulated diet, they don't need to sleep so much. However, if you are a very voracious eater, if you eat nicely, and if you don't sleep properly, then you will fall sick. But if you have this habit of 9:30 to 3:30, then you will not feel sleepy throughout the day, and it is only 6 hours. And slowly you'll realize that those 6 hours also you don't need fully. This concept of 8 hours, in fact, in one of the purports to this verse only, I think 14.5, Srila Prabhupada writes that those who sleep for more than 6 hours, they are surely in the mode of ignorance. Forget about what the medicine and the doctors say. Doctors themselves are in the mode of ignorance. So, mode of ignorance is defined by these characteristics. Okay, moving on, chapter 14. What happens when you die? I was speaking, the one who is not afraid of what will happen to him or her after dying is a madman. So, what is the destination after death? What kinds of people will attain what destination? You see this picture. Some of them will go in animal species, some of them will go human species, some of them X, Y, Z. So Krishna defines in the verses 14 to 18, when one dies in the mode of goodness, he attains pure higher planets where the great sages live. Swarglok, Maharlok, Tapalok, Brahmalok, these kind of places. But even if you go to Brahmaloka, you cannot escape birth, disease, old age, and death. These 4 things you cannot escape. What happens in Swargloka? Okay, one may say that there is no disease and there is no old age in Swargaloka to some degree. We agree. But time is limited. To the degree of pious credits which you have, you will just appear in the Swargaloka. And then you'll be welcomed by so many apsaras, and then they'll be singing, dancing, somaras you'll be drinking, enjoying with those apsaras. But your time is running out. Shine punya martya lokam tam vishanti. As soon as your pious credits are finished, you will be kicked out. So you have made a plan. You've decided tonight I will go on a date with Urvashi. And then you have eaten 50,000 gulab jamuns. And then you are running, Urvashi, I'm going to meet her. Nandan Kanan is there, Somaras is there. But time got finished, vanished. Nobody will know where you went. And then again taking birth in some species, in some house. But even demigods fall sick. There is a reference. In the Mahabharata, we read that how Agnidev got sick because of excessive yajnas which were performed in which excessive ghee was added. So because of that, he had some problems in his body, in his ethereal body, the body of a demigod. So he approached Arjuna that I need the herbs which are there in this Khandav forest. You please burn it so that I can get those herbs and cure myself. So we have documentation that even demigods fall sick. So basically, wherever you go, birth, death, old age, and disease cannot be avoided. If old age could be avoided, why is Lord Brahma so old? Brahma is old, right? That means birth, death, old age, disease is there. So if you die in the mode of goodness, you go into the higher planetary system. When one dies in the mode of passion, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to achieve this, I have to achieve that, buy this, buy that. Then he takes birth amongst those engaged in fruitive activities. That means those who want to do so many things. Mostly such people take birth in earth or the Sutal Lok, not Sutal, Bhulok, Bhuvarlok, or maybe +2, -2. There are 14 planetary systems, +2, -2, and mostly on earth, they take birth again. And those who die in the mode of ignorance, they take birth in the animal kingdom. Now, how to transcend these modes? Krishna has given hint. Verses 19 to 27. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in devotional service, please listen how to overcome the modes of material natures. One who engages in full devotional service, unfailing in all circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and comes to the level of Brahman. That means uncontaminated bliss that person will enjoy. Those who are pure devotees of Krishna, you cannot imagine what the kind of happiness they are experiencing. You see in our altar, in the lower side, on your left, on your right and my left, will be a photo of 6 people standing. They are hardly wearing also anything, just one towel and one pot in the hand. They are called as Goswamis. But they are the happiest people in the whole creation. It is not that if you want to become happy, you just strip off all your clothes and wear a gamcha or a towel and take a kamandal, you will become happy. No, no, no. Don't make that mistake. Don't think that just by shaving your head, you will become happy. Happiness is an inside job. However, the point which I'm trying to say is these people who look like they are the most destitute and the most poor people in the whole planet, they are the happiest people in the whole creation. Why? Because they are pure devotees of Krishna. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityaitan. They are unfailingly devotees of Krishna in all circumstances, and at once they have transcended the modes of material nature. That means mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance cannot affect them. Therefore, they are always in transcendental consciousness or divya consciousness, divya chetana, in which they are always remembering Krishna, never forgetting Krishna. Then Krishna says in the next verse, how he is the basis of impersonal Brahman. Brahmano hi pratisthaham amritasya vyayasya cha shashvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya cha. Krishna is saying, I am the basis of impersonal Brahman. There are many Mayavadis who say that the body of Krishna is made of material energy. The highest form of existence is Nirakar, Nirguna, Brahma Jyoti. That is their statement. They say that when that Brahma Jyoti takes a form, it looks like Krishna or Rama. And when they come in this material world, they forget that I'm God. These kind of nonsense statements they'll make. But here, 14.2 to 27 is a slap on their face. But despite getting so many slaps from last 5,000 years, they've not understood. Krishna says, Brahmano hi pratisthaham. I am the basis of impersonal Brahman. That means because I am there, that's why Brahman exists. Just like the thread is there. I asked a very personal question last time about how good is this necklace. Many of you said it's not so good. But the essence of the discussion was that the thread is the reason why the necklace exists. So similarly, Brahmano hi pratisthaham. Krishna is there, so Brahman is there. So I am the basis of impersonal Brahman, which is immortal, imperishable, and the eternal, and is the constitutional position of unlimited happiness. So those who are worshippers of the impersonal form of Krishna, they attain this Brahman. They merge as spirit souls in that Brahman. But then what happens? For millions of years, they are there in that Brahm Jyoti, floating in happiness, uncontaminated bliss they are experiencing. But after some time, they start feeling lonely. Why? Because there is no seva, there is no service attitude. As a spirit soul, we are always engaged in seva. Either we are serving our boss or our dog. I don't know why I said these two words together. But somehow or the other, all the time we are serving someone. So from time immemorial, we are constantly serving. But by going in Brahma Jyoti, we don't have any scope to do any seva. So those who have not taken shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, even if they go to Brahma Jyoti, thinking that they are liberated, ultimately they'll again fall down. And such people, when they fall down from the Brahma Jyoti, they come in the society and become philanthropists, or they start doing social charitable work. This kind of attitude they have. That's what Prabhupada told. Now, this finishes chapter 14 also. Chapter 15, Yoga of the Supreme Person. So here, if you can see, there is a photo of a tree. In this, the branches of the tree are going downward and the root of the tree is upward. This is the inverted tree of the material world. Krishna uses this example of a banyan tree to explain what is this material world. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhva Moolam Adha Shakham Ashwatham Prahuravyayam Chandamsi Yasya Paranani Yastam Vedasa Vedavet. This chapter is called as Yoga of the Supreme Person, and this chapter is describing how from material world to spiritual world we can go by detachment and surrender. So Ashwatham means a banyan tree. So material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual variegatedness in the spiritual world. For example, if there is a tree standing on the bank of a river, this is the tree and this is the river. The tree is very high and there are some apples in this tree. But that apple is very high. So in the shadow, where will that apple be? Very, very low. So the best thing in the spiritual world is the most degraded thing in the material world. Similarly, the things which are considered the most degraded in the material world, they are the best thing in the spiritual world. Now, how many of you have recently eaten an apple? You must have experienced the texture of the apple. Then you must have realized there is wax on it, so you must have removed. Always peel the skin of the apple before eating, please. These days, there's a lot of wax on it. For in temple, before offering, we peel it. Then after offering to Krishna, you must have smelled it. It has a texture also. It has a smell also. It has a taste also. Do you agree? Am I saying something which you have not experienced? But there is, imagine the reflection of this apple is falling in that river, and there is a fish which is saying, today I will eat that apple. Maza aayega. But what happens when the fish goes there? What happens? Apple is not there. You can see the apple, touch the apple, feel the apple, see the apple, touch the apple, smell the apple, and taste the apple. But what can the fish do? Only see. The fish cannot taste, the fish cannot smell, the fish cannot touch. But does it mean that the smell, touch, and the taste of apple doesn't exist? But the fish has no idea. It is beyond the conception of the fish. So similarly, real beauty and real taste of everything exists in the spiritual world. We have no idea, no conception of that as of now in this material body. The material world is a perverted reflection of that spiritual world. My spiritual master explained it in one line. It's just like when you eat a mango and throw it away. The things which are like thrown away in the spiritual world, they are the object of greatest relishment in the material world. So one cannot imagine, when in the material world, when we see the opposite gender, we become enamored. But the real beauty is there in the spiritual world. The real taste is there in the spiritual world. The real smell is there in the spirit. Everything which is real is there in the spiritual world. Just like imagine this fish. Everything about that apple which the fish is seeing is artificial. Even the sight is also not proper. If the fish comes and jumps, then for next 2-3 minutes, the apple also is not visible. So reality is spiritual world. Material world is not the ultimate reality. There is another school of philosophers who say Brahmana Satya Jagat Mithya. This is incorrect statement. The Jagat is not Mithya. The reflection of the apple is not Mithya, it is truth. Because the apple is there, so the reflection is there. So similarly, because the spiritual world is there, that is why the material world is there. Because Krishna is there, so both are existing. So we cannot say it is false. However, we can say it is temporary. Do you agree? So Brahman is Satya, Jagat is also Satya. But Jagat is temporary. So therefore, we as spirit souls are eternal. And anything which is eternal, you take, conceptually speaking, on an eternal time scale, you put something which is temporary, that is false. Eternal versus eternal makes sense. So eternals have to go to the eternal world and serve that eternal supreme personality of God. And how to do that, Krishna is explaining in this verse. And if you see in this photo, on the various branches, on some branches you are seeing desire. The water on which this tree is reflected is called as desire. And then there is dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Various branches of the tree define that: religiousness, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. And then you can see the position of various species and various demigods in this tree. Nobody can understand where this tree begins and where this tree ends. If somebody is thinking, I am on this branch and I'll go till the end of that tree, find out how this branch began, and when I come out of end of this tree, I will jump out of the tree. It's not possible. So how to get out of this reflection of the material world and get into that reality of the spiritual world, that is explained by Krishna in verses 3 to 4. Krishna is telling, by the way, the first verse is Urdhva Moolam Adha Shakham. There is a tree whose moolam, the root is upwards, Urdhva Gachanti Sattvastha. Just like those who are in the mode of goodness, they go upper planetary system. So similarly, Urdhva, Adha Shakham, the branches are below, Ashwatha Prahurabhyayam, a banyan tree. Chandansi Yasya Paranani Yastam Vedasa Vedavid. Those who are the true knowers of Vedas, they understand this material world as a perverted reflection of a spiritual world, just like a banyan tree is appearing upside down. That is the definition or the translation. However, in the verses 3 to 4 of this chapter, Krishna says how to come out of this tree. Krishna says the real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world, just like that fish cannot understand. So the real form of this tree, the spiritual world, you cannot understand in the material world. You have to go there to understand. No one can understand where this tree ends or where it begins, where its foundation is. But with a determination, one must cut down this strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. This is Krishna's statement. Thereafter, one must seek that place from which, having gone, one never returns. That is the Bhagavad Dham. And there surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, from whom everything began and from whom everything has extended since time immemorial. Therefore, the aim of life is to go back home, back to Godhead, and with weapon of detachment, vairagya, with determination, sankalpa shakti, you have to cut down this tree. What is this nonsense tree? Cut down and go out of this tree and surrender to Krishna. There is no limit to this tree. Even demigods are trapped in it. Even demigods are trapped in this tree. And this tree is called as the material world. Because of this verse only, many people worship the banyan tree. You see, they will tie thread, they will circumambulate. The inner mood is they are remembering this verse and they are hoping and praying that they will get the determination to cut this tree, not physically cut, but cut the tree of attachments, illusion, enviousness, lust, anger, greed, and this material world with my weapon of detachment. When you circumambulate a banyan tree, remembering the Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, shloka number 1, then you become a devotee of Krishna, not a devotee of banyan tree. Do you understand? Many people don't understand. Simply they are doing. Whenever they see a banyan tree, tika lagao, thread bandho, hang few things. Some people they are going to the banyan tree and putting things that this is my desire. When my desire gets fulfilled, I'll come and open this bangle or this tree. This is stupidity. Anyways, I'm being harassed by so many desires from so many lifetimes. Why do I go to some place and ask for something more? Why don't I just go and recite this verse 15.1 in front of every banyan tree? That I'm suffering in this world. I'm meant to render loving devotional service to you, but I'm unable to do that. And because I'm unable to do that, I'm suffering in so many species and in so many ways. And I'm eating stool. Why can't I just get out of this? This consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. Chapter 15 talks about the surrendering to Krishna, the process of surrender. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha adhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha dvandvair vimuktaha sukha dukkha samyer gacchantya mudha padam avyayam tat. How to surrender to Krishna? Krishna says in the 5th verse, those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, and who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who are unbewildered know how to surrender to that Supreme Person, and they attain the eternal kingdom. Now, there are so many conditions. Those who are free, for no false prestige, no illusion, no false association, understanding who is eternal, done with material lust, freed from dualities of happiness and distress, unbewildered. How to manage so many qualifications? The answer is just become a devotee of Krishna. Just chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Once more, please. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. This time, let's chant louder so that Krishna hears it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Anybody who chants this holy names of Krishna, they will be freed and they'll be given divine intelligence by which they can surrender to Krishna. There's a verse which says this: Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti. Those who are Tesham satata yuktanam, those people, bhajatam priti purvakam, with love and affection, satata, continuously, who chant my holy names, read the Bhagavad Gita, stay with the devotees, serve the devotees, eat prasadam. Dadami buddhi yogam tam, I give them that divine intelligence by which they can come back to me. That means they can surrender to me. Surrendering is not an easy job. Sometimes people think that surrendering means giving up my freedom. No, surrender doesn't mean that. Surrender means swarupena avasthitaha. When you get established in your original constitutional position, that is called as surrender or moksha also. When you understand who you are, what is your job description, and what you are meant to do, and when you start doing it, that is the time when you become the happiest. And this is possible only by those people who can give up their false ego. So by surrendering, you don't lose your freedom. You become ultimately free with a responsibility. That is called surrender. Sometimes surrender is, in the war field, army scenario. Surrender means, I'm surrendering now. Now either you can kill me or make me a war prisoner or something. But in spiritual world or spiritual life, surrender means becoming unlimitedly free by getting established in your constitutional position. So surrender gives highest happiness. Even in warfield, unnecessarily struggling means surrender karke thoda, you can get some relief. In fact, I would like to say wherever and whenever, yada yada, wherever and whenever you surrender, you get happiness. Correct, no, bro? Of course, surrender is different from cowardice. You cannot become a coward. Oh, I'm feeling so lusty, let me surrender to my lust. Oh, very, very nice. Oh, I'm feeling so greedy, let me just do this chara ghotala or scam. Let me surrender to my. No, that is not called surrender. Surrender to Krishna. Don't surrender to greed or infatuations or things which are not worthy of surrender. Now, Krishna inspires us. He's telling, cut this material tree and come back home, back to Godhead. So Arjuna must be thinking that what is this spiritual world? Can you describe a little bit? So Krishna describes 15.6. Na tad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. Listen to the description of the spiritual world and scratch your head. That supreme abode of mine, whose abode it is? Not your grandfather's. It's Krishna's abode. Okay? That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by sun or moon, nor by fire, nor electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Now just imagine. Imagine a place where there is no electricity. Cannot imagine. Bro, I'll not come only to that place. Now imagine a place where there is no fire also. That means prasadam will not be cooked. I'll not come only. Now imagine a place where there is no sun also and no moon also. No sun, no moon, no fire, no electricity. Oh my God, oh, spiritual world looks like hell. That place is so great and so glorious that there is no need of sun, no need of moon, no need of fire, no need of electricity, because the greatest sun, the greatest moon, the greatest fire, Krishna is there. And because of Krishna, everything is self-effulgent. That is spiritual world. The sun sets, but Krishna never sets. And imagine a holiday destination where you go. But unfortunately, whichever holiday destination you go, you are forced to return. Why? Because time gets over, money gets over. Those who have money, they don't have time, and those who have time, I'm just making a generalized statement. Okay, I know some people who don't have time also, don't have money also. They are busy fools. Prabhupada said we should not be busy fools, we should be lazy intelligent. Now you can do permutation combination. Lazy fool, lazy intelligent, busy, lazy, and busy fool. I think I messed up. So you can do this combination. So we should not be a busy fool, but we should be lazy intelligent. But see, the abode of Krishna is such that when once someone goes there, they never return only. That means they never want to come back only to this degraded material world. Certainly Krishna must have imprisoned them there, right? Ab aa gaya, jail mein chalo. That place is so happy that nobody wants to come back. Do you realize what that place is? That is called as Bhagavad Dham, where there is no birth, no disease, no old age, no death. You are there, Krishna is there, the cows are there, the pasture grounds are there, the devotees are there, Nanda Bhavan is there, Govardhan is there, Yamuna is there, and you are there. And of course, Kachoris are there on the banks of river Yamuna. And of course, the demons keep coming. So you have to go through that treatment also. Now, after that, Krishna talks about the transmigration of the jivas. Mamai vamsha jiva loke jiva bhutah sanatanaha manah shashthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. The living entity is conditioned in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Jiva bhuta sanatanaha. This is against the Mayavadi philosophy, that you have to go and merge in God and then become God. If you can merge in God and become God, then why will Krishna say Sanatana? That means eternally we are fragmented part and parcels of the Lord. Do you understand? If a green parrot goes in a green guava tree and starts eating a green parrot, from far we cannot see that. Once the green parrot enters the green tree, we cannot identify the difference between the parrot and the tree. But that does not mean that the parrot loses its individual existence. Now, many of you must not be understanding, why do I keep hammering this Mayavad point? Individual existence. Humko kya lena dena hai? I have come here just to learn Bhagavad Gita. Now you will not understand. But I'm just trying to sow the seeds in you so that you can be saved from the alligator crocodile-like false philosophies of this world. Later on, you will encounter these philosophies when you will go to the so-called pseudo-spiritual organizations And when they'll teach you that you have to merge with God and become God, that time you should show these verses to them. Mamai vamsha jiva loke jiva bhutah sanatanaha manah shasthani indriyani prakriti sthani karsha. Due to conditioned life, prakriti, they are struggling very hard. Karshati, they are struggling with their 6 senses, manaha shasthani. 5 senses, and if you include the mind, it becomes 6. So with the 6 senses, they are struggling very hard in this material world, but they are my parts and parcels. They don't deserve to struggle like this. They deserve to be with me. So Krishna is feeling very sad when he's saying this verse, actually. Now, Yoga of Supreme Person appreciates Krishna's position as the maintainer of this world. This is one of the most famous verses of Bhagavad Gita. Please repeat with me. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha Vedaischa sarvairahameva vedyo Vedanta krit veda vid eva chaham. Krishna is saying, I am seated in everyone's heart as Paramatma, Sarvasya Chaham, Hridi Sannivishto. And Mattah Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. By my influence comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Vedeshcha Sarvair Aham Eva Vedyo. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Vedant Krid, I am the compiler of the Vedas. Vedant Veda Vid, I am the knower of the Vedas. Yeah, that's the meaning of this verse. So I'm reciting as Paramatma in everybody's heart. Now this understanding will give you a lot of fear from everything. Suppose if a snake is there in front of you, what you will do? Run away. Now who gave you this memory that snake is there, run away? Who gave? Krishna can take away that memory also. No? Look at Arjuna. As long as Krishna was there, he was having so much strength to fight with the demigods and the demons. As soon as Krishna left for his spiritual abode, and there was no need for Arjuna to have this potency as the greatest archer to go back home, back to God, Krishna removed that potency. And it was seen that after that, some cowherd men came with some sticks and they could defeat Arjuna also. So if Krishna wants, all our memory, remembrance, forgetfulness, knowledge, talent is like a plug in the hands of Krishna. I'm a very nice footballer. I'm very proud of it. Krishna will pull one plug and you are finished after that. So one should not be very proud that I'm very intelligent, very strong, very this, very that. They are just borrowed feathers. So Krishna gives the remembrance. And of course, Krishna controls also everything. Suppose if a lion is coming in front of me, then until unless the person or that's how there are many yogis still in the Himalayan mountains who are living amidst snakes, lions. How do they survive? Because they think that I am not more important than this lion. I am also a part and parcel of Krishna. This lion also is a part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna loves the lion also. Krishna loves me also. They are not. Why does a human attack a snake or a lion whenever the human sees any threat for its existence, they kill the threat. Why? Because they are envious of that threat. I am more important. I'll give a gross example. Here is my brother. My brother is less intelligent. Let me kill him. So similarly, here is a cow. The cow is less intelligent. Let me kill the cow and eat. That is human consciousness. So when somebody does not have this consciousness, they are Panditaha Samadarshina. They are on the Pandit platform where they see everybody as the spirit soul. Then the Paramatma in the heart of that soul knows what he is thinking. And the same Paramatma is in the heart of that lion also. So in that case, the Paramatma in the heart of lion, which is the same Paramatma in your heart, will not inspire that lion to attack you and kill you. And neither will you attack that lion and kill that lion. Similarly, if a person is coming to murder you, until and unless that person is inspired by Krishna to come and murder you, he cannot murder you. Please understand this point. And because of Krishna's influence, you get knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. Now, Vedaishcha sarvair aham eva vedyo. Veda means everything which the human society can think, conceive, or imagine comes from the Vedas. Whether you talk about military science or metallurgical science or art, craft, Viman Shastras, flying, subtle technology, gross, everything comes from Vedas. So the goal of studying all the Vedas is Vedaishcha sarvair aham eva vedyo. All your studies should lead you to Krishna. You are becoming a very nice chartered accountant. But if your chartered accountancy does not make you a devotee of Krishna, that chartered accountancy is a waste of time. You are becoming a lawyer. If your law doesn't make you a devotee of Krishna, it's a waste of time. Because the goal of the Veda, law is a part of Vedas, chartered accountancy, accounts is a part of Vedas. So Vedaishcha sarvair aham eva vedyo. The result of your study and knowledge should be that you should become a pure devotee of Krishna. You should realize Krishna. If you cannot do that, then millions of lifetimes of study is a waste of time. Why? Because Vedanta krit Veda vid. Now, many people doubt the Vedas. How can I trust? Some human being has written it. He may have made some mistake. So Krishna is saying, Vedanta krit. I am the compiler of the Vedanta. And Veda vid. I am the knower of all the Vedas. Again, Krishna is telling, if I am the knower of all the Vedas and if I am the compiler of the Vedanta, simply by worshipping me, you'll get all knowledge of Veda and Vedanta. Why you are wasting your time? Just become my devotee. Indirectly, Krishna is saying that. But a less intelligent person will not understand. And again, 16 to 18, he talks about the summary of the Vedas and the Vedantas. And 19 to 20, Krishna says, knowing Krishna means knowing everything. Vedanta krit Vedavid eva chaham. So I have summarized the entire 15th chapter. 19th verse I would like to read. Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata. This brings us to the chapter 16, which is called as the divine and demoniac natures. This is a quite small chapter. This is I think the smallest chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. It has only 20 verses. Is 15th chapter? Just check how many verses 16th chapter has. 21? 20 only? Yeah. So this is a monologue chapter. In this chapter, except Krishna, nobody else is talking. So suppose if you have taken a vrata of chapter a day and you want to just sleep quickly, this is the chapter, you know which chapter to choose. Just read this chapter and go to sleep. The divine and demoniac natures. In this, the first 4 verses, they talk about the divine natures. And the remaining all verses, they are talking about demoniac natures. So generally, people don't understand the first 4 verses. The remaining verses, they very nicely understand. Because it's like, yeah, I can relate to it. So in the first 4 verses, 1, 2, 3, actually just 3 verses, Krishna gives what is divine nature. Please listen. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Shri Bhagavanu Vacha. Fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from passion for honor, these transcendental qualities, O son of Bharat, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. So those who have divine nature, they have these qualities. Sometimes we call somebody as a Mahapurush, or we give some great names. Devaru. Devaru means these qualities should be there. If these qualities are not there, that means that person is not Devaru. That person is not Mahapurush. Actually, the word Mahapurush can be used only for Krishna, nobody else. In fact, the word Jayanti also. What does the word Jayanti mean? You know, we very commonly say this Jayanti, that Jayanti, politicians Jayanti. The word Jayanti means when a particular living entity is coming in the world, let's say when a devotee is coming in this world, the stars, they align themselves. They don't align themselves. Krishna creates a particular cosmic situation so that a very good influence is produced, because of which that devotee gets very nice circumstances to revive their Krishna consciousness. Now, the best condition is produced according to astrological and cosmic situations when Krishna himself is coming. So the scriptures say when Krishna comes, all the stars, they automatically align themselves in such a way that a lot of auspiciousness is created. Now that astrological situation is called Jayanti. Now this Jayanti cannot be used for useless people. I hope you are understanding what I'm trying to say. The word Jayanti is specifically reserved for Krishna, Balram, Vaman Jayanti, Parshuram Jayanti, Krishna Jayanti, Krishna Ashtami, they say. Like that. Narasimha Jayanti. It is specially meant for Vishnu Tattvas. This Jayanti cannot be even used for anybody else. So divine qualities, and now let's read demoniac qualities. These are very common. Dambho darpo bhimanascha krodha paurusham, krodha parushyam evacha Ajnanam chabhijatasya partha sampadam asruim. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. Now, in the rest verses, activities of demoniac people and the consequences is being told. I'll just read a little bit. Those who are demoniac, they do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation or no God in control. They say that this world is produced out of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, I will gain more according to my schemes tomorrow. So much is mine now, and it will increase in future more and more. Here he is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything which I see. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by my aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform some sacrifices. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Krishna is speaking. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, anger, the demons become envious of me, who is situated in their own bodies and in the body of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. These are the statements of Krishna. Now, we are hearing so much about the demoniac nature. Now, let's see how to give up these demoniac natures. Krishna talks about giving up demoniac nature tendencies and following. This can be done only by following the scriptures. Trividham narakasedam dwaram nashanam atmanah kama krodhas tatha lubhas tasmad etat trayam trajit. Krishna says that there are three gates to hell. Trividham narakasedam. In three ways you can go to hell. What are they? Dwaram nashanam. And these three gates, they destroy the spirit soul. I mean, nobody can destroy, but they degrade the spirit soul, you can say. What are these three gates to hell? Kama, krodha, tatha lobhas. Lust, anger, and greed. Tasmad etat trayam tyajet. That means every sane man should give up lust, anger, and greed. Those who are not sane, you please continue on the path of lust, anger, and greed, and you see what will be your destination. But Krishna says this. So the translation is, there are three gates leading to hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of soul. So the first way to give up demoniac tendency is to stop being lusty, angry, and greedy. And then some people may say, I don't believe in Bhagavad Gita. I believe in communism or socialism. Whatever ism they may believe in. So what is the result of disregarding the scriptures? Krishna warns everybody. Yah shastra vidhim utsrijya vartate kamakaratah nasa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na parangatim. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection, nor happiness, nor the supreme destination. That means those who do not act according to the statements of God, the statements of Krishna, the statements of Bhagavad Gita, neither that person will become perfect in anything, nor that person can ever be happy in life and forget about a higher destination after death. So my friend calls it as the PhD verse: perfection, happiness, and destination. If you want to do real PhD, what you should do? Chant Hare Krishna, read the Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, all the PhDs, double PhD, triple PhD will go to YMC. Yamraj Municipal Corporation, correct. Coming to the second last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, it's called as the divisions of faith. What kind of faith do people have? Some people worship Krishna, some people worship demigods, some people worship Grama Devtas. Earlier, I used to live in Siddhapura. So there is some tradition there. One day I saw all the residents of that village, they came with one hen or chicken in their hand. And some fearsome form of some deity or some Devi came out. People were carrying her on the head. And as soon as they came in front of the deity, like this, they were cutting the chicken. And the body was dropping down. And then they were dancing with the head in front of that. Their belief is that if they don't do that, many obstacles and many problems will come to the village. That is divisions of faith. They don't know if they simply worship Krishna, what else is needed? Instead of worshipping some evil spirits, ghosts, Grama Devtas, demigods, best is to worship Krishna. Do you follow? There is a temple, there is a so-called temple of a particular deity in India where, you know what is being offered? This is ignorance. This is not Sanatana Dharma. This is madness. Some people are doing it. This is I say on record. This video is going live on YouTube. It's madness. It is not dharma. It is adharma completely. But you know what they offer? Liquor, wine, rum, whiskey. Those things they offer. cigarette packet, and husband and wife got newly married. So the belief is that if you do not go with some liquor and cigarette packet, something will happen either to the husband or to the wife. So they go. And I've seen a video where the pujari has burned 2 cigarettes and he's holding it just like agarbatti and he's showing it. And I don't want to say what you get as prasad in that temple. It's a temple. This is called divisions of faith. Similarly, I have seen on one particular highway, there is a temple of Mother Kali. All the truck drivers and all the people who are passing that, there is a very strong belief that if you do not stop and offer your obeisances in this temple, you will meet with an accident. This is called divisions of faith. Now, Krishna talks about divisions of faith in the 17th chapter. Arjuna's inquiry was, what about that faith which is not mentioned in the scriptures only? Can you give me an example of a faith which is non-scriptural, not mentioned anywhere in the Shastra? Non-scriptural faith. I have faith in a personality or in something or someone which is not mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita or the Shastra or the Bhagavatam or Puranas or Upanishads anywhere. Can you give me some example? Yes, Mataji, you are smiling. I think some example is coming to your mind. You should please say that. Yes. I'll not take names here because someone will feel bad if I say. Yes. Any other names? Give me some more names. One more name is coming to your mind. You're not saying that. Please say. Sorry? Yeah, that is like Mayavad. Yeah. I mean, it's disgusting, but it is still better than all these things. Tell me an example of a personality whom people are very devoted to, but that personality's name is not there anywhere in the scriptures. Yes, this is one example. Once that movie came, everybody all over India, it was like going on. But where is it mentioned? Which Shastra, which Puran, who talk, where is it mentioned? Give me one more time. Yes. Where is this person's name in the scripture? Who is he? Just because his own followers have written something, so he is worshipped? We are asking you to worship Krishna. Krishna's name is there in the scriptures. It is there in the Bhagavad Gita. It is Shastrik. Devala, Acyuta, Narada, Vyasa, Arjuna. Great personalities are confirming it that he is Supreme Personality of God. I know many people will be offended, but where is this person's name in the scripture? Who can vouch for who is he? Is he in the divine or in the demoniac nature? If I can produce some gold chain out of my hand, who is greater, me or Bhima Jewelers? Because Bhima Jewelers can produce 20 gold chains every day. If I can produce some vibhuti from my hand, who is greater? Me or the municipal corporation where so many dead bodies are burnt every day? You can take kgs of ash. People don't use their intelligence. Sentimental following is going on. Krishna is saying, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. Anybody, any person who has done a little bit of austerity, sadhana, yoga, will get some siddhis. But if they use those siddhis to call themselves great personalities and make money, then it is the whole purpose of sadhana or yoga is spoiled. Every devotee of Krishna has many siddhis lying dormant in their body. But they do not want to be known for their siddhis. They want to be remembered for their bhakti to Krishna. Because what will all these siddhis do? Who can be more siddha than Durvasa Muni. You know that pastime, Durvasa and Amrish Maharaj pastime, you know? Amrish, very good. Thank you. Should I invite him to recite the pastime? So Durvasa Muni became offended that I am a great sage who drinks the grass of only who drinks the juice of only Durva grass, therefore the name Durvasa. And I have so many mystic siddhis in my body. I am coming in this kingdom, and instead of respecting me, they are respecting an ordinary king, a grihastha, Ambrish. Let me test what kind of a person. So he came there, and Ekadashi was going on. But during the Paran time, the time when you break your Ekadashi, Durvasa Muni went to have bath, and he took some extra time. Yadyad acharati shreshthas tatta devataro janaha. Whatever activities a great man does, common men follow. Now, in those days, the whole kingdom used to observe Ekadashi. Now, they are all looking at the king. When he will break the fast, we will also break the fast. So the Pandits and the Brahmanas, they advise that you better drink one drop of water so that your praja can break the fast. So just so that the custom or the etiquette of Ekadashi is not spoiled, he took one drop of water. It said that he took water drop as big as a mustard seed. But Durvasa Muni, who was in the river, in his mystic meditation, he came to know. And then he said, this is breach of etiquette. This is Maryada Unlanghan. I am his guest. I am senior to him. I'm like his great-grandfather. And I'm in his house. And he is eating and drinking before me. I'm also doing Ekadashi. I have not eaten anything, not drank anything. Why is he doing like this? He became so angry out of envy that he, look at this is called Siddhi. He broke one hair, a bunch of hair from his head, and then he chanted some mantras and threw it on the ground, and out of that hair came a great fire demon, and he ordered that demon that go and kill Ambrish immediately. And then this is called Siddhi, by the way, not like one gold chain and one golden egg and write down what other person is, stomach pain. Then this is not Siddhi. I hope you understood what I'm doing. That is, okay, I agree, it is some Siddhi, but that doesn't make you somebody special. There is one very simple Siddhi called as Vashita Siddhi. In the Bhagavatam, it is mentioned also how to get that Siddhi. You can control everybody's mind. Even ordinary magicians can do that. PC Sarkar used to do that. Chakshu Bandhan. With that Siddhi, you can show everybody that which is not there. How do you think he made the entire Taj Mahal disappear in front of 5,000 people? Chakshu Bandhan. He can show you something for some time which is not there and hide the original things. So even ordinary magicians who live for 2 rotis, they can do. So is he somebody very great? But the point which I'm trying to say that just because someone has some siddhi, that does not mean that he should be worshipped and forget Krishna. So this story of Durvasa and Ambrish, nobody has more siddhis than Durvasa Rishi. And he produced a demon to kill Ambrish. And Ambrish Maharaj was thinking of Krishna in the core of his heart. And he did not take even a step back. And he was just thinking, my dear Lord, if this demon is death, then the Bhagavad Gita says, Mrityu Sarva Haras Chaham, you come as death. If this is you, I welcome you. And he was thinking of Krishna. Immediately the Sudarshan Chakra came. The Sudarshan Chakra killed the demon and then they started chasing Durvasa. Durvasa Rishi, now, is there anybody who can escape the Sudarshan Chakra? But the Sudarshan Chakra was not killing Durvasa, only chasing. Because the intention of Krishna was not to kill Durvasa. Durvasa Muni went to Indra, said, you save me. Indra said, oh, I cannot save you, get lost. Then he went to Brahma. Brahma said, see, you offended. devotee of Krishna, nobody can save you. Then he went to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva said, run away from here. The heat of Sudarshan Chakra is burning me as well as all the ice which is here in Kailash. Go away from here. Then ultimately, Lord Shiva had suggested him that you better go to Lord Vishnu. Only he can do something because this Sudarshana comes from him. So he went running. It is said that in 1 year, he went throughout the universe. Now, this itself is a great miracle. Where is that yogi who can traverse the entire universe in 1 year? And he went there and he went to Shvetadweep, where Kshirodakshai Vishnu was lying down. And then he went and fell at his feet and he said that, please help me. So at that time, Lord Vishnu or Krishna said, Aham bhakta paradhino, na swatantra ivadvajaha, sadhuvir grasta hridayam, bhakter bhakta janape. Lord Vishnu said that, see, I cannot do anything. Aham bhakta paradhino, I am subordinate to my devotees. You have come to me for protection, but this Sudarshan doesn't listen to me. This is how Vishnu is speaking. I am subordinate to Aham bhakta paradhino, na swatantra, I am not at all independent. Now, Arjuna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Param. He's telling that you are the supreme independent, but that supreme independent is telling, I am not at all independent. Sadhuvir grasta hridayam. My devotees have captured me in their hearts. Bhakter bhakta janapriya. My dear Durvasa, what to speak of my devotees? I am very happy. I'm very fond of even those who are the devotees of my devotee, they are also very dear to me. What to speak of my devotees, those who are the devotee of my devotee, they are more dear to me. That is what Krishna is saying. So then Durvasa understood that the only way I can be saved from this Sudarshan is to go and surrender to Amrish. Now, reason why I told you what siddhis Amrish had and what siddhis Durvasa had. But who had to surrender to whom? So in reality, which is the greatest siddhi? Bhakti is the greatest siddhi. In front of a devotee, even greatest of greatest mystic yogis like Durvasa cannot do anything. So why worship such people who take out some gold chain and do silly things? That is what I was trying to say when it comes to divisions of faith. Invest your faith very carefully. Krishna says in verse number 4, men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. There are many places where ghosts are worshipped also. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances, not recommended in the scriptures. I'll give you an example of a tapasya which is not recommended in the scripture. These days, the politicians call it as satyagraha. I have some political agenda in my mind and I want it to be fulfilled, so I will sit here and fast. This is non-scriptural. Fasting should be done only on Ekadashi, and fasting should be done only for the pleasure of Lord Krishna and not for your own agenda. I come from an industrial town called as Jamshedpur, and I have seen on some occasions when the company there, Tata, they wouldn't give bonus on Durga Puja. I've seen these labor union and the workers in Tata Steel, Tata Motors, etc. They used to lie on the road that we are dying because bonus is not given to us. And they used to not eat for 4 days, 5 days, 6 days until bonus will be given. And they used to say this is Satya Agraha. Bonus is Satya and I'm asking for it. Satyagraha I am doing. This is nonsense. Just to stop the nonsense, the Tatas used to give, le ribab. You take this bonus and enjoy. And what they'll do, I'm talking about 97, 96. Everybody gets bonus and everybody finishes the entire bonus in Durga Puja. A small city, a town like Jamshedpur, used to spend like 400, 500 crores in Durga Puja. Just for sense gratification. New clothes, new this, new that, idhar jana, doing this. This is not satyagraha. So similarly, Hiranyakashipu did some austerities, which is not, when you do some austerity by which you harm your body, that is demoniac. Aradhanam, no, what is that verse? Aradhanam yadi hari tapasa tathakim, naradhanam yadi hari tapasa tathakim. If you are worshipping Krishna, then why do you need to do tapasya? And if you are not worshipping Krishna, then what is the use of your tapasya? That is the verse. So those who undergo severe austerities and penances, not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish, and who torture the material elements of the body as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. So all these people who are opening their shirt and saying, I want bonus, or I want this, I want that, they are all what? I have also done this in my college, what to do? At that time, I didn't read Bhagavad Gita. Now, this is one of the most practical chapters of Bhagavad Gita, which talks about what to eat, what not to eat. Why is Bhagavad Gita talking about what to eat, what not to eat, how too much to sleep, and how much not to sleep? Because these things, they affect the mind. And if your mind is not in an equilibrium condition, you cannot appreciate the divine Krishna. So Krishna says, foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purify one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. Foods that are too bitter, too sour, too salty, hot, pungent, dry, and burning are dear to those who are in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery, and disease. Food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed and putrid, that means non-vegetarian food. Food consisting of remnants which are untouchable, that's again non-vegetarian food, is dear to those in the mode of darkness. Bhagavad Gita chapter 17, shloka number 8, 9 and 10 talks about foods in 3 modes. Which food you should offer to Krishna? Food in the mode of goodness. Now, what if you say, oh, I will not offer to Krishna, I'll just eat food which is in the mode of goodness. Is that good? No. Being vegetarian is not something very great. Of course, it is better than being a non-vegetarian. Some people are mad, they do not accept this. But at least the Bhagavad Gita says, what is food in the mode of ignorance? And you are what you eat. If you eat food which is in the mode of ignorance, what you will become? Ignorant. If you eat food which is in the mode of passion, what you will become? Now, in the corporate, you have to be passionate, you have to be passionate. But what do you get out of all that passion? Frustration. Can a very passionate person be happy? Bhagavad Gita chapter 3. Remember that ocean example, many rivers entering the ocean. How many of you remember that? Anybody remembers? I'll not ask you. Just say if you remember or not. Yes. Sorry? Over ocean will not get agitated. Yeah. Apuryamanam achalam pratishtham. The last line of this verse says, Na shantim apanoti kamakami. One who runs to satisfy each and every desire is not a happy person. Rather, one who knows how to prioritize their desires and focus on Krishna. That person is happy. So passion leads to unlimited desires, and those who have unlimited desires, they can never be happy. So if you eat, once when I was not a Krishna conscious person, I used to go to restaurants, and those times there used to be something called as sizzlers. Do they still exist? Very much, huh? They make that noise also. Imagine what consciousness you'll get after eating that. Your life will become. That's all. So eat, which is food. I again say, we devotees of Krishna, we are not vegetarians. We are Krishnatarians. If in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, give me fish, we will very nicely cook fish and eat and serve all of you also. But Krishna doesn't say that. Krishna says, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 17, shloka number 8. And Krishna is very clear. We all know what Krishna eats. So because Krishna doesn't eat meat, fish, eggs, because Krishna doesn't eat food which is in the mode of passion, because Krishna doesn't like food in the mode of ignorance, we being followers of Krishna, we don't partake in that. We are Krishnatarians. So therefore, vegetarian food is not acceptable to us. Only food which is offered to Krishna and accepted by Krishna is acceptable to us. Do you understand? Will Krishna accept wine? Offer kar denge. Once one person came to a temple with the boxing gloves in his hand. Offer it to Krishna. So the person who was doing the Pujari Seva, he said, hey, these things cannot be offered to Krishna. He showed chapter 17, shloka number 8, 9 and 10. He said, see, you are a Pujari, just do your job. I am a boxer. If you offer this to Krishna, then whomever I will hit, they will get Krishna Prasad. Oh. Then we understood that simply chapter 17, shloka number 8, 9, 10 cannot give us the full understanding. So the Pujari happily offered. And after that, he used to hit everybody with that boxing glove. And he used to think, yeah, he'll become a devotee. And hit him. Gopinath Prasad, Krishna Prasad. The next time he came with a pair of shoes, and we didn't offer that. Shoes we offer karenge to kaise chalega. Anyways, so yes, food which is prepared more than 3 hours ago. I thought that which is prepared 3 hours ago is food. But see, this is the culture of our country or the Sanatan Dharma. Everybody used to cook fresh, eat fresh. This refrigerator culture is killing people. Cook fresh, eat fresh, grow fresh. Now there is concept of frozen food. It is frozen, you just dip it, cut and eat. Ready to eat. Kali Yuga means instant pizza, instant idli, ready to eat, 2-minute noodles. This is called Kali Yuga. Everything should come quick. So their expectation in life is also quick. There is no patience. Therefore, the lifespan is also reducing. Memory is also reducing. Intelligence is also reducing. Fortune is also reducing. Everything is reducing. Similarly, Krishna talks about food, which is in the 3 modes. He talks about charity, which is in the 3 modes. He talks about sacrifice, which is in the 3 modes. Similarly, austerity is also, there are 3 types of austerity. I would like to focus upon one of them, which is called austerity of speech, because it is very much relevant to us. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priya hitam chayat swadhyaya bhyasanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyate. How many of us have got into problems because of our speech? Please raise your hand. I will also raise my hand. This verse is relevant to everybody. It teaches how to speak. Krishna says austerity of speech consists of speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and non-agitating to others. So first of all, you should speak truth. But if that truth is not pleasing, then what you should do? Keep quiet. I'm speaking the truth, it is pleasing, but is it beneficial? Keep quiet. I'm speaking the truth, it is pleasing, it is beneficial, but is it helpful to someone? Is it adding any value or is it agitating someone? If it is agitating someone, keep quiet. So, austerity of speech consists speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, and non-agitating to others. But Prabhuji, I can't just keep my mouth shut. I'm an extrovert. My mind cannot even think what is truthful, what is pleasing, what is beneficial. Forget about agitating others. Then Krishna recommends, oh, if you are a chapal, vachal, if you are a great speaker, then better you start reciting the verses and make a practice of regularly quoting the verses in your speech. And so Krishna says, also regularly reciting Vedic literature. So use the energy of speech in regularly reciting the Bhagavad Gita shlokas. Then the urge to speak will be reduced. Because the whole day you are reciting and you get tired. And of course, that gives you transcendental satisfaction also. You recite repeating the words of Krishna. So truthful, pleasing, beneficial, non-agitating, and regularly reciting the Vedic scriptures. This is called as austerity of speech. Similarly, there is austerity in 3 modes. There is charity in 3 modes. I will discuss the charity because it is very practical. All of you are very charitable people. Charity given out of duty without expectation of return at a proper time and place to a worthy person is considered to be in the mode of goodness. Charity in the mode of goodness. But charity performed with expectation of some return or with a desire for fruitive results or in a grudging mood is said to be charity in the mode of passion. And charity performed at an impure place to an improper person, at an improper time to an unworthy person without proper attention and respect is said to be charity in the mode of ignorance. And finally, Krishna concludes this chapter by saying, anything done as sacrifice, charity, without faith in Krishna is impermanent. It is called asat and is useless both in this life and in the next. So with that, we conclude the 17th chapter, going to the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is called as the perfection of renunciation. Chapter number 18. This is the last chapter. Basically, in this chapter, Krishna summarizes the entire 17 chapters and he reiterates all the discussions. He explains 2 kinds of activities, Kamya Karma and Nitya Karma. This clarity, which this discussion started in chapter 3, but the clarity comes in 18th chapter. Kamya Karma and Nitya Karma. Giving up Kamya Karma, or the karma which done with a desire for fruitive results. Giving up Kamya Karma is called sannyas, and giving up the result of the karma is called tyaga. However, giving up Nitya Karma is never recommended. So, 18.2. Krishna is talking about what is Kamya Karma, Nitya Karma, etc. I'll just read the translation of this. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, the giving up of activities that are based on material desire is what the learned men call renounced order of life, that is sannyas. And giving up the results of the activities is what the wise called as tyaga. So there is a difference between sannyas and tyaga. However, never give up the acts of sacrifice, austerity, and charity. This is the recommendation of Krishna. That acts of sacrifice, charity, and penance should never be given up. Why? Because they purify even the pure souls. You cannot say that I'm so pure that I don't need to give charity. No, always sacrifice, charity, and tapasya or penance should be continued in all circumstances. One cannot say that I've been chanting Hare Krishna from last 16 years, now I don't need to come to Mangalarti. No, you cannot say like that. Sacrifice, austerity, and penance always should continue. Then this chapter also talks about the 5 factors which affect all actions. Now, honest hard work does not always equal success. If karma is an equation, then there are 5 variables in that equation. 4 out of these 5 are not in your control. When you understand this, you become more humble. And then you feel like surrendering to Krishna. So what are those 4 things, or what are those 5 things in total? Krishna says in verse number 14, what affects the result of any work? The place of action, that is the body, is the place of action. The performer, that is the spirit soul. The various kinds of senses, Jnanendriya, Karmendriya, and the conditioning which they have. And the various kinds of endeavor which we do. Again, conditioning inspires various kinds of endeavor. And ultimately, the super soul. The place of action, the performer, the various senses, the many different kinds of endeavor, and ultimately Krishna or the super soul. These are the 5 factors of action. One may say that I'm great Hiranyakashipu. I can make 4 out of them in my favor. I can make my body perfect. I can soul to Hiranyakashipu also didn't have good idea. But yeah, I can control all my senses, and my endeavors will have the right purpose, and I'll bring all demigods under my control, astrological situations under my control. But still, you cannot bring Krishna under your control. So therefore, it is seen that there is a saying in Hindi, Allah meherban to gadha pehelwan. Sometimes it is seen that even if a person does not has the right intention, does not has the right body, the senses are not proper, he's an illiterate, and his endeavors are also not very meticulous, but still they are in a very great situation. And sometimes it is seen that all 4 things are correct. The body is, the endeavor is correct, the motivation is correct, the performer is correct, the action is correct, timing is also correct. But when Krishna has not sanctioned, it will not happen. So one has to understand these points. So similarly, work is also in 3 modes, places are also in 3 modes, intelligence is also in 3 modes, determination is also in 3 modes. Everything is affected by the modes of material nature. And the only thing which can help you to overcome these modes of material nature is Kevala Bhakti, or rendering devotional service to Krishna. So therefore, towards the end of the 18th chapter, Krishna again starts talking about Bhakti, or acting in Krishna consciousness. This is the favorite verse of Srila Prabhupada. Please repeat with me. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te prati jane priyosi me. In a way, Krishna says this verse twice in the Bhagavad Gita. Another place, Manmana bhavan bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru, is there. But the last 2 lines are somewhat similar, but Krishna is so affectionate that he's telling again and again, just forget everything. This Gita SAAR and all, everything you just forget. Just remember this much. What you have to remember? Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you, because you are my very dear devotee. Don't try to become Durvasa Muni. Just follow in the footsteps of Maharaj Ambrish. 4 things you have to do. Just try to think of Krishna. That means, how do you think of Krishna? When your mind is ruled, when Shastra does shasan on your mind, then you can think of Krishna. So the best way to think of Krishna is to read the Bhagavad Gita. Become my devotee. How to become devotee of Krishna? By chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Worship me means take a photo of Krishna, start offering a flower daily, start offering a tulsi leaf daily, and after that take that flower and tulsi leaf, smell it, honor it, mix that tulsi leaf in your milk before drinking, and do some deity worship. In order to do deity worship, you have to have bath daily. Something you should do. And then offer your obeisances unto me, or offer your homage unto me. What does that mean? Regularly, put the deity of Krishna in your house in such a way that whenever you come, you offer obeisances. Regularly come to the temple, where you remove your crown of being a king of the whole world and come inside and offer your obeisances. Regularly visit the places where Krishna and his plenary expansions have performed some pastimes. Go to yatras. This is what it means. So if we can do these four things, always think of Krishna, become a devotee of Krishna, worship Krishna, and offer obeisances to Krishna, then we can go back home, back to Godhead very, very easily. What is the need to do Gita, sir? Just do these four things. And ultimately, Krishna says that verse because of which he told the entire Bhagavad Gita. So generally, when we ask, I was explaining how there is conditioning due to the mode of goodness. People think we know Gita. Karm karo, phal ki chinta mat karo. Yahi hai Gita. But that is not the essence of Gita. If you have to really tell the essence of Gita in one line, this is the verse, 18.66. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami ma shuchah. So earlier Krishna told work with detachment. But towards the end, Krishna says, work with devotion and just surrender to me. So this verse says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. Here the word religion means dharma. Dharma doesn't mean Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai. Putra aapke hum sab bhai. Not that dharma. Here dharma means the constitutional prescribed duty of a person. Desh dharma, karma dharma, patra dharma, or XYZ dharma, all those dharmas. Putra dharma, cat dharma, dog dharma, family dharma. Krishna is telling, put everything secondary. What is primary? Krishna consciousness. Sarva dharman parityaja. Because all these dharmas which you are taking shelter of will not save you at the time of death. Because all the other dharmas, they are propelled by body consciousness. Now I'm going to say something which may create a controversy, but please try to hear with a cool mind. Many army veterans are also here. Desh dharma means I am an Indian and I should do anything for my country. That is a very noble emotion. But are you an Indian or are you a spirit soul? You are fighting against Pakistan and your whole consciousness is on that Pakistani Major General whom you are trying to shoot, and thinking about him and the Pakistani flag, you get killed and die. Then where do you take birth in the next life? Then what happens to your Desh Dharma? See, we respect. I'm not doing Desh Dro here. I'm just explaining the meaning of Bhagavad Gita. You are an Indian and be proud to be an Indian. But first, you are a spirit soul. Simply being proud that I am an Indian will not save you at the time of death. Simply being proud that I am a doctor will not save you at the time of death. Simply being proud that I am a millionaire will not save you at the time of death. And some people are crazy. No, we will do anything. This is Telangana, this is Andhra, we'll kill each other. This is Chhattisgarh, this is Madhya Pradesh, we'll kill each other. This is Bihar, this is Jharkhand, we'll kill each other. Again, this is body consciousness. You are not an Indian, you are not a doctor, you are not a man, you are not a woman, you are not a human being, you are a spirit soul, essentially. So a dharma which is primarily propelled by body consciousness is not going to save you at the time of death. That is why Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya. If anybody has a problem with this statement, go and fight with Krishna, not with me, please. I'm simply repeating the words of Krishna. We very nicely respect and honor our teachers, our war veterans, They have done great sacrifice. Scripture says that those who die a brave warrior's death in battlefield, they go to Swargloka. And many Apsaras welcome them. They sit in the Nandan Kanan, they drink Somarasa, and they lead a very happy life. But what to say, Bhagavad Gita students don't aspire for that. There is a case of reincarnation where during the Second World War, an American pilot was killed by the Japanese, and he took birth again. And he was telling that after death, he went to heaven. And another pilot who died with him was there, and what they did. And after that, how he took birth again, and how from childhood only he could describe each and every part of the plane, the fighter jet, and he could drive it also. 4-year-old child driving a fighter jet. If war veterans will see this, they'll be like, what is this? Superhuman. So what I'm saying is not the false thing. It is the truth. We glorify Kurukshetra war. There are so many wars fought where so many people die. What is so special in that? People die anyways. But we are glorifying Kurukshetra war because everybody who died in Kurukshetra saw Krishna while dying. That is not an ordinary death. That is not a warrior's death also. That is a spiritual destination achieved. Dying or running away from battlefield is very bad. If somebody runs away from the battlefield, oh my God, they have a very bad destination. So therefore, if you are a soldier, you should take the bullet here. That is good. At least you will meet Urvashi. And in your next life, you will again get an opportunity in the mood of a Kshatriya. But that is not the goal of life. The goal of life is to go back home, back to Godhead. And every other dharma, other than rendering pure devotional service to Krishna, on the spiritual platform is not appreciated by whom? Krishna. So therefore, Krishna says, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. I have Putra Dharma, I have Rashtra Dharma, I have planet Dharma, I have apartment community Dharma, WhatsApp Dharma, Instagram Dharma. Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. Krishna says, just come and take my shelter. Ekam. I am Krishna, I am praying to you, but looks like my desires are not getting fulfilled. So little bit I'll take shelter of the district collector also. No. Mam Ekam. Have faith in me and surrender to me. Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshayisham. You must have done so many sinful things. Mashucha. I will give you freedom from all your sinful reactions. And don't have any doubt whether I can deliver you or not, or whether I can do. I'm not Indra. That I'll send some Apsara to do something to some Rishi and he will give promise that I'll protect you. But then that Apsara gets burnt. Who's that Apsara who got burnt? Vishwamitra did that. Menka gave birth to Shakuntala. She didn't get burnt. So the next Apsara who came got burnt by Vishwamitra. Rambha. Yeah. Indra cannot give protection to anybody. Lord Shiva could not give protection to Ravana also. When Lord Ram decided, iska number aa gaya hai, number aa gaya. Lord Ram is the original Adipurush. You understand? And any imitation Adipurush is useless. So, Mam Ekam Sharanam Bhaja. Any other shelter you take, you will be cheated. You will be thoroughly cheated. You take shelter of your intelligence, you will be cheated. You take shelter of your money, you will be cheated. You are thinking that all these family members are my soldiers, they'll protect me. You'll be cheated. You are dependent on all these doctors, lawyers, and society and so-called loved ones, you'll be cheated. Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. Tvameva mata chapita tvameva bandhu chasakha tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. This is the consciousness of 18.66. Sarva dharman parit. Gopis of Vrindavan had this consciousness. They renounced everything in this world to go to Krishna. This consciousness is called Krishna consciousness. Sarva dharman parityaja. That's why Krishna uses the word vraja. Now, in Sanskrit, any word could have been used, but why he used the word vraj here? Just to signify that the word vraja means pasturing lands. So my devotees who are in pasturing lands, that is Gokul, Vrindavan, you have to walk in their footsteps. Mam ekam sharanam. How to take your ekam sharanam, Krishna? Just try to learn from the residents of Vraja. That is the inner meaning of this second line. Mam ekam sharanam Vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyam. I'll give you freedom from all sinful reactions, do not fear. Which basically means, because of sinful reactions, we are not able to chant. Because of sinful reactions, we don't get any taste in our bhakti. Because of sinful reactions, we are not able to surrender to Krishna. So Krishna is telling, I will remove all the obstacles which are there in your path of surrender. This is the inner meaning of this verse. Okay? So with that, we conclude our Gita SAAR, where Arjuna is saying something and then Sanjaya is saying something. After hearing the entire Bhagavad Gita, what did Arjuna say? Nashta moha smritir labdha tvat prasadan maya Acyuta. Sthitosmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I have regained my memory by your mercy. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha. 15.15, where Krishna says that because of me comes knowledge, remembrance, and forgetfulness. So Arjuna got that remembrance back. So he's telling, I have regained my memory. Tat prasadan maya Acyuta. By your mercy, Acyuta, I've understood. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I'm prepared to act according to your instructions. And then Sanjaya says, Yatra Yogeshwaraha Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shrir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matirmam. Wherever there is Krishna, the master of all mystics, and wherever there is Arjuna, the supreme archer, there will always certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. This is my opinion. So basically, to align our will with Krishna's will is the ultimate teaching of Bhagavad Gita. That means I have to do what is dharma? Whatever Krishna wants me to do, that is dharma. If Krishna wants me to kill 6.4 crore people in the battlefield, that is dharma. If Krishna wants me to chant Hare Krishna, that is dharma. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. You cannot give rise to your dharma. You have made communism, you have made Marxism, you have made socialism. This is all your mental concoction. But dharma means whatever Krishna says. If you have a problem with this definition, good luck. Many more lifetimes in the material world you have to lead. But if you can understand who is Krishna and follow what he says, just like Arjuna was very hesitant to fight the battle, but he understood. Following what Krishna is doing, saying, that is his dharma. Essentially speaking, Arjuna is no longer doing his prescribed duty as a Kshatriya. He is fighting this war to please Krishna. I repeat, Arjuna is not essentially doing his duty as a Kshatriya now. He is fighting this war just to please Krishna. And in the process of doing that, everything else is getting fulfilled. His duty of a Kshatriya is also getting fulfilled. But essentially, acting for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna, this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. So this way we have concluded a quick summary of Bhagavad Gita. Let's try to imbibe some of the qualities which are mentioned here. I would like to repeat a few things. Whatever result was obtained in Satyuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapar Yuga by seeing the Lord's lotus feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thus, these 16 names composed of 32 syllables are the only means to counteract the evil effects of Kali Yuga. The evil effects of Kali Yuga are meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, intoxication. In all the Vedas, it is seen that to cross the ocean of nescience, there is no alternative to chanting the holy name of the Lord. So the essence or the ultimate conclusion of this Gita SAAR is that all of you should start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Take up some japmalas from here. Every day chant few rounds Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Regularly keep attending these sessions. Everybody should read the Bhagavad Gita at least 2-3 shlokas daily. And regularly come to honor Krishna Prasadam. These 4 things, A, B, C, D, association of devotees, reading of the Bhagavad Gita, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and diet of Krishna Prasadam. If these 4 things you have started doing, that means whether you know any shloka of Gita or not, you have understood Gita SAAR. And always think of Krishna, remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Understand that you have to align your will with Krishna's will. But Prabhuji, Arjuna could directly ask Krishna. How can we directly ask Krishna? Krishna is not accessible to us. So therefore, align your will according to the teachings of the Acharyas, because the Acharyas know Krishna. The devotees of Krishna who are sincere followers of the Acharya, they can tell you what Krishna wants you to do. So leading a life under the guidance of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, you are directly in touch with Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram.